From day one, Odell has maintained her innocence, that someone else murdered her children. I may not have agreed with her or believed her, but I promised I'd tell her story. I will stay objective, I said. I will listen to you and try to report what you tell me. Odell, I think, felt someone was going to give her a chance to speak, which is, she told me, all she has ever wanted. She asked me for money. It happens with every book. Inevitably, someone, sometimes 2 or 3 people, ask for money in exchange for interviews. Not for her, but for her family. In 1977, the New York State Legislature passed a law prohibiting criminals from using their notoriety for profit. Aptly titled the Son of Sam Law, it provides that a convicted murderer cannot be paid for his or her story. Many try to get around this by asking journalists to donate money to their families. It is, I guess, a noble request. In some strange, criminal way, also something I have never done and will never do. In my view, money poisons information. As Odell and I spoke, we talked about children, of course, about her youth, parental abuse, spousal abuse, and other dysfunctions plaguing many American families. Oddly enough, as we sat at the table in the prison visiting room and spoke, a very loud and violent thunderstorm rolled in. It got so dark outside, I was there in the afternoon, it felt as if we were in the middle of the night. As the lightning and thunder crashed and banged and the rain pelted the tin roof above, the lights flickered on and off. Within a few minutes, I found myself sitting in a cavern-like dark, cafeteria-style room with about 50 or so female inmates, 1 guard, and no lights. I couldn't see my hands in front of my face. For a minute, we sat there in silence and waited for the generator to kick on. That day would become a metaphor for my continued talks with Odell. Over the course of listening to Odell's stories, I realized this book, in many ways, is about blacking out and trying to recall lost memories. Memories that I am convinced are shrouded in a veil of evil. Throughout a year of writing this book, I corresponded with Odell through letters and phone calls. I have well over 20 hours of interviews on audio tape. I must say, much of Odell's story cannot be backed up by secondary sources. In certain places, I have tried, without success, to track down people and get a second or third version. In many instances, it just couldn't be done. Either the people involved had died, records didn't exist, or those individuals who could back up Odell's claims would not speak to me, for whatever reason. I decided to open the book with Odell telling her own story. At times, she is quoted in these passages. Other times, however, as the narrative flows without quotations and I tell Odell's story for her, as she told it to me, it is still Odell speaking. I have simply taken what she has said and put it into an easy-to-read format. I have added nothing to those passages except background information and regional town and state research. It is all fact, but based on Odell's version of the events. In addition to Odell's story, I have related the truth as we know it, the Sullivan County, New York District Attorney's Office version of what happened. To write those passages, I used a multitude of documents, trial transcripts, police reports, medical records, and dozens of interviews with many of the individuals involved. I've inserted this additional layer of factual information into the narrative to offer you, the reader, the entire story as I have uncovered it.
As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. 2 Esdras, 1638, Apocrypha, the Holy Bible, King James Version. My mother was the most beautiful woman I ever saw. All I am I owe to my mother. I attribute all my success in life to the moral, intellectual, and physical education I received from her. George Washington. Chapter 1. 1. In the early 1960s, the Molina family lived in a 3-story house on 95th Avenue in Jamaica, Queens, New York, near Brooklyn, Coney Island, and JFK Airport. Bright lights, big city. Neighborhoods made up of what seemed like 1,001 different cultures.